Hi, this is Leigh Ambergy. I'm a Stamping Up demonstrator in Mentor, Ohio, and thank you for joining me today. Today what I want to share with you is this card. And this card was made at a recent card buffet class I have in-person classes at my home, and card buffet is held the last Friday of every month, unless it falls on a holiday weekend. And there are the participants have a choice of 10 cards to make, and they get to make 6. The class fee covers 6. They get to choose what cards they want to make and the quantities of those cards. And with this card, what I want to share is, I don't know if you can see if the shine is showing up on that. When I was designing this card, and stamp is from the Nature's Harvest, and it's on the Cork paper. I love this Cork paper. And I stamped it with Early Espresso ink. And then I noticed when I was working with the card, the ink didn't dry. So I stamped it again, used my heat tool, and it really was taking it a very long time to dry. And I thought, it's the classic Stampin' Up ink pad is a dye-based ink, which is a water-based, fast drying. And I'm like, what? So I stamped it again, 3rd time, and then I applied clear embossing powder and heat set that. And it gives it the look of embossed, but we're not limited to our embossing powders. So this could be really any color ink you want. So I'm just going to take you briefly through how I made this card. And again, it's the Nature's Harvest stamp set, and it's on a 4 1/4 by 11 soft succulent card base, and that is scored at 5 1/2, and I've already burnished it with my bone folder. And we're going to be using the Cork paper, Early Espresso for the mat, and then also a piece of the Harvest Meadow Designer Series paper that is also matted onto Early Espresso cardstock. All the measurements for this card is listed in my blog, but let's get started with doing our stamping and our heat embossing. So again, Early Espresso ink. And you know what, before I do that, because the best way for me to learn is to make a mistake, I'm going to stamp my greeting down here in the lower right so that I make sure I have room for it. So I am stamping thank you from the Nature's Harvest stamp set. And then we are going to stamp on our Cork and heat emboss with clear. So just ink your stamp. And now the stamped image in this will not be a perfect image, because this Cork paper is textured. It has textures to it. If you really wanted to get like a really crisp impression, your best bet is to put this stamp in the Stamparatus and just keep stamping it. But then again, you're also going to be heat setting that ink so that it stays dry. So let's get the clear embossing powder. And we're going to apply the clear embossing powder. And you can see that the embossing powder is sticking to that dye-based ink, just because the Cork doesn't allow the ink to settle into the paper. Okay, so I am going to turn on my heat gun, and hopefully, again, I can figure out how to edit this so that you're not watching that or listening to that noise. And again, when you use a heat tool, turn it on and let it warm up and get hot before you start using it. So here we go. Okay, so there we go. So did you see that turning into a nice, shiny, embossed image on there? Isn't that cool? All right, so we are going to apply this to, if your paper warps, you can always take your heat tool and apply some heat to the back side. That helps straighten it out. Apply adhesive, and I feel I need to do a disclaimer here with adhesive. I don't always use Stampin' Up! Adhesive, and I think that goes back before my Stampin' Up! Days when I was a scrapbooker. I prefer an adhesive that has a diamond or a dot pattern to it for the simple reason. If I put something down, this is until I press it into place, it's much easier to remove it, to correct my mistakes. And again, I feel adhesive is a personal choice for each individual. And I truly believe you need to use what you are comfortable using. So you probably will from time to time see me use a non-Stampin' Up! Adhesive. Sometimes I use Stampin' Up! Adhesive. I do have the, oh gosh, what do they call it now? Seal and Seal Plus or whatever. I do have that, but I still prefer an adhesive with a, there we go, a diamond or a dot application, just so I can correct my mistakes. All right, so we're going to assemble this card. And designer series paper, making sure the wording is going in the right direction. It's not upside down. It's going off to the left. And I think I'm going to put dimensionals on this. And I think I'm going to use, the black just because it's dark cardstock. Just going to go offset a little bit, and that's it. Nice and easy. So when I figured I was going to do this video, I thought, yeah, okay, let's see what, I wonder, I mean, originally my concept was to use Early Espresso ink, and then I figured out the embossing trick with it there. So I'm going to, because I'm just curious, and I'm going to do this with you on camera, get my chamois. I want to clean my stamp. I want to see what another color ink would look like. Since this is dark. Love the chamois. So, there we go. I pulled out, because it's a somewhat lighter shade, Bumblebee. So I'm going to ink this up with, if I can open this stamp pad, I'm going to ink this up with the Bumblebee and put the clear embossing powder on. Let's see what that looks like. All right, so that's the Bumblebee. It's not that contrasting of an image. Let's see what it looks like, because I am just curious. And did you, before I applied this powder, did you see? You could tell. You could see the ink sitting on top of that. So let's see what this happens when we heat this up and see if that image comes through or not. Maybe it is just going to work with the darker shades. So here goes the heat tool. You know, that's interesting. When I applied the ink just on top of there, I didn't think I was going to like that. But then once you put the embossing powder on there, it's not as much of a contrast. But that is still really, that's cool. That is neat. So, you know, I hope that if you have the Cork paper, pull out some stamps, pull out your ink it up, stamp it, and apply some clear embossing powder to it. I think this is just really fun and neat. And I am so happy that you tuned in today, that you could watch this with me. Thank you so much. Have a great day. Bye.